You're an executive at an energy company that invested in Microsoft Copilot to drive productivity across your organization, but your CFO is now questioning whether the numbers actually make sense. In this video, I explain exactly why enterprises across every industry are struggling to justify the cost of Copilot and what the ones who fixed it did differently. If this sounds like you or someone you know, don't worry, you're not alone. You see, after a full year of Copilot rollouts across the enterprise market, corporations are finding the features underwhelming, to say the least. The cost is around $360 per user per year, and on top of that, what your organization already pays for Microsoft 365. For a company with thousands of staff, that number is not small, and the return that was promised at the time of purchase has not materialized for most organizations. Microsoft itself asked investors to temper expectations for quick financial returns from Copilot. An acknowledgement from the inside, that was what was sold, and what is being delivered are not the same thing. Your finance team is not being unreasonable for pushing back. The tool is not delivering because it was never set up to deliver in the way that some of the best tools are. When your team searches for information using Copilot, the system only looks at a small number of documents before generating a response. Across everything your organization has stored, your staff are getting answers built on a fraction of what actually exists in your systems. And Microsoft tells you that when a document is updated, it syncs into the system within 2 to 3 hours. But what the people who have actually deployed this at enterprise scale know is that in large organizations, that sync regularly takes up to 2 to 3 days. So your people are working from a knowledge base that is days behind your actual documents, and the system gives them no indication that anything is wrong. So every seat that you're paying for that is not delivering measurable value is a line item from your CFO, eventually will be cut. And when that conversation happens, the answer cannot be that the tool needs more time. The organizations that are seeing real value from Copilot right now are not doing anything fundamentally different from you. They just fixed the layer underneath the AI that was causing it to fail. And the results are showing up organization-wide. Faster answers, more confident staff, decisions made on information that is accurate and current. That fix takes weeks to deploy, just maybe under a month, and it runs entirely on your infrastructure organization that you already own. No new software, no new vendors, nothing new for your people to learn. And the cost is less than a single month of what you're already paying for Copilot license. The teams that are not waiting are pulling ahead. The cost of Copilot becomes very easy to justify when the tool actually works. And right now, most energy organizations, it doesn't. That changes the moment you fix what is underneath it. This is such a huge opportunity right now because it's really important to say that the technology that can make Microsoft Copilot better already exists. It's already there. It's within actually the Azure infrastructure. So everything that your company is using, especially if they're already in Azure Workshop, then it's really about knowing which tools to properly set up and of course how to set it up that will allow your company to have so much more efficiency with all of the information that already exists. If you look at your options, some people would say, well, I'll just let my employees do whatever they want and take this information. That could be a huge disaster in the future. You can already sense that allowing your employees to either do it with or without approval or, some sort of like ask and don't tell policy, what's happening is that's putting your organization at risk for one. But two, it's causing massive inefficiencies. You're getting redundancies of data, duplicate documents, left here, left there, left everywhere. And this is actually why you're seeing large organizations completely shut down their company laptops from being able to access these things because the risk is real. So depending on if your company has caught up or not, maybe you don't have those controls in place, but it doesn't mean that it's not important. So rather than stifle the productivity and the innovation of your teams, the best thing to do at this point is to fix what's already there. And the good news is that's possible. And in fact, we've done it. We've helped a $10 billion pharmaceutical company achieve these very same results. They had an internal IT company. They had even an AI architect. And despite having that, sometimes it's not so obvious what actually needs to be done in order to make these kinds of improvements. But with just a limited amount of time, just about 4 weeks that we were there, we were able to take this organization's documents, about 1,200 of them. We started with the pilot and re-architect the base layer, right, the index layer, and use some of the tools that Microsoft Azure has, not necessarily out of the box, but things that you configure and upgrade to. And with that, all of a sudden, their staff and this team at a pharmaceutical company had access to all of that information, was able to use Copilot Copilot in a way that most people are familiar with using ChatGPT and Claude, because those are the tools that actually work. When you give it the document, when you give it the knowledge, you expect to be able to ask answers and then have a response that makes sense. Now, the other thing is, after this information layer or this indexing layer is built, we have all kinds of capabilities in order to allow for an organization to build on top of this. This is just the base layer. And where companies fail, you've always heard that, garbage in, garbage out. And so if you aren't able to organize the data, then you don't have any use of it. So really the key takeaway here is that we're organizing the data for you and telling the AI exactly how it should look at that information, how it should prioritize that information. And then what that allows is for people who are actually trying to synthesize or read that information, collect it, or, research, do anything like that with that information, they actually have it at their fingertips now. So you can imagine the efficiency and the time that's condensed, not having to go and take it out of a repository here or a database there, or even a folder here, and then move it over to another workspace or something. Everything is right in the infrastructure and right in the system that you've already invested in. And that's the Microsoft ecosystem. So there really are incredible opportunities, and people are taking advantage of this. We're talking millions of users. I think of the 450 million users that Microsoft has, they say that only 3% roughly are actually using or paying for Copilot. And the reason why is because this is a real issue. Many teams have tried it. Entire governments have even done pilot use cases. And over, the response is the same. You could go out to the internet right now and read this, but the point is that you and your company are not alone when you've had these feelings that, there's just always something a little bit more to be desired with Microsoft. But the solution is out there. The solution is here. We've been implementing this and have great results. We'd love to show you what that looks like, even if it was just a demo. One of the key things to take away, is that there are many things that happen as a result of not having this set up properly. And, the financial implication is, of course, one of them. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars will probably just be wasted because the infrastructure and the way that the tool was set up isn't proper. It wasn't allowed to do what you intended it to do, what your organization was maybe even promised that it would do. We all know how AI should work because we've had experience with more like user-friendly tools. However, Microsoft has fallen short. So the things to do there are fix your index, and that's going to fix a number of problems downstream that allow information or access to all this information for your users and your teams to be able to collaborate on these documents. You start small, start with the pilot, and then you can expand from there, because the next layer after organizing the data, and this is just making some configuration changes that again could be done in a matter of weeks. But once that's done, then you have the power of AI at your fingertips, because that's where you could start to build other agents on top of that AI. You could start to build other processes and workflows off of that AI or that restructured large language model that you have. And so not to mention that you're just getting the value out of the license that you've already paid for, but then also the entire ecosystem of Microsoft that you've already paid for. Let's be honest, if you're running email and you have SharePoint and you have a document repository and you have a database of other things, you want Copilot to be able to look and index all those things. It should. That's what AI is doing right now in other normal tools. With this solution, you can do exactly that. And that's the beauty of it. And it actually changes the efficiency as well. After we're done, the efficiency of the response, you can automatically see that it's accurate, that it's pulling information properly. That's kind of another issue you're going to want to see, or that you're going to want to solve for, that we see right now, is that the indexing of information. So when a team member or someone from the organization might be working on a document and they click save and they upload it into SharePoint, you would think that the AI would have, within a reasonable amount of time, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, be able to find that document and understand what it was about, and whether it's that person who updated the document or it was somebody else over, in a different part of the team or organization. You would think that the AI would be able to find that most recent version, but instead what's happening, the out-of-the-box tools and the out-of-the-box functionality isn't as robust as it should be. Really, what you would expect is that when someone clicks save, that document is available for you and your team and everybody else, so that hundreds, even thousands of people in the organization should be able to see that. that. After these updates are made, that's exactly what happens. Without going into too much detail, there's a problem with the indexing, right? The frequency that out of the box, Microsoft will refresh all of the data and all the versions. A lot of times they're going to report numbers that are in the 2 to 3 hour range, but in reality, that time is days. And the drawback there is that as we're trying to make decisions within an organization, or when you're trying to make decisions, you are expecting information to be as accurate and as current as right here, right now. And so what that allows after that change is done is it allows more cohesiveness within the organization. It allows for more information to be readily or easily transferred, better decisions to be made. And of course, again, once that there's confidence that data layer is accurate, then you can build all sorts of other things on top of that. And I think that's really another incredible unlock, because you would think that this is something that Microsoft would have figured out when they launched Copilot. But in their defense, they're just having to juggle too many different priorities. Those priorities come when users are expecting responses in a matter of seconds. And in those seconds, they're having to make tons of different priority decisions based on priority in terms of managing security protocols, managing role-based permissions, managing enterprise risk ends up having a significant impact on the results that you see. And that we talked about the indexing, we talked about the price. These are real problems that organizations are facing right now. Again, we've helped some of the largest and we've helped even smaller organizations. The common theme is that the problem is all the same. And luckily, there is a solution for this right now. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to check out the description in this YouTube video. Happy to set up a call and talk you through it. Have a great day.